Hello, Glenn Denman here, working on the bus today. And what else would I be doing but working on the bus? Because working on the bus is a lot of fun, and I'm getting some things accomplished here. And it's kind of a dreary day outside. It's kind of misty and rainy out there, and it's winter time. It's December. It's almost Christmas time. It's about the 20th or so. And so I can say now that I have the ceiling of the bus nearly completed. So the way I ended up working out this cap at the front here, I had made the mistake as I had brought these cabinets out here to this point here at the end of the OSB, and then I did the same thing over here, but not thinking that the OSB was further over here. So I ended up with a uneven cabinet spacing here. So basically the cabinet here sticks out further than the cabinet over here, so which is really unfortunate. But I had this really rough transition here going from the OSB ceiling to the original fiberglass ceiling here, which I like this fiberglass here. It's the right color, it looks great. And so I went ahead and just made this piece here, wrapped it with foam. Underneath it has the foam board, the 1/2-inch foam insulation board. I just use that because it was soft. Plus it does add insulation to the gap there, because I have some screws under here holding this ceiling on here, or holding this ceiling tight to the steel frame, which again, those screws will conduct cold and heat. So that's completely isolated off. And this cap here just made a nice little transition here to go from one ceiling to the next. Came out really good. And then this next board here, which I still got to clean the sawdust off, but this next board here just kind of butts right up against it, trims out the end of this vinyl, trims that out real nice. And then of course the sequence of bands starts here and goes on down, and of course it's kind of interrupted by this thing here. And so I really like how this came out. And I again, I went ahead and ran my aluminum 1/8 inch by 3/4 inch aluminum around the entire perimeter of the bus, or the entire perimeter of the ceiling, all the way around. And one thing about that is I can always take one of these complete vinyl panels out and replace it if I ever had to, if the ceiling leaked or something like that. So I could just take these wood strips down, take the aluminum piece down, pull this piece off, and then put a piece back on, or even the same one, I guess. It depends on if it gets damaged. Put it back on or whatever, and put these trim pieces back on. So in other words, it's isolated from anything that's permanent. So, which, I doubt I'll ever have to do that, but a guy could if he had to. So the reason I ran these short and buttered them up against the aluminum here is just because I didn't want to run these long and then have to go through and have all these little tiny pieces of aluminum all the way down. I just didn't care for that. So I thought, well, it's going to look just fine, button it up to it. And I don't know, to me it kind of gives it a little bit of an industrial look. So this came out really nice. My door here came out good on the ceiling. So it's definitely not a ceiling that everybody would do. It was my own idea, and I just sort of thought about it for the last couple years while I was during the rest of the bus. You're always just kind of thinking about how you're going to do finish work on some parts of it. So that's what I decided to do, and it came out just fine. And so the rest of the bus here, I still have the bathroom to finish, only because I don't have my exhaust fan here in yet. And the bedroom is almost finished. I just have to finish the little bit on the end here. So anyway, so that's the video for today, and I hope everybody enjoys it. And by the way, I did accidentally delete a whole bunch of footage of actually putting the ceiling up. So I apologize for that. It was some great footage, and I deleted it thinking it was footage for something else, and so I lost that. But I've got some pretty good footage there, and so hopefully people can get something from it. So thanks for watching the videos. Take care of yourself, and God bless. as I'm pushing up on the stapler, I'm kind of pushing it up and then sliding it over and pulling it tight at the same time. You don't want to get too carried away though, because then you'll be pulling out your other staples if you stretch it too much. I already had this up once, this door, but I had to take it back down. I snipped the corners off just a little bit so I don't have a sharp corner, possibly as years go on, pulling or cutting into the vinyl. And before I put all the screws in, just make sure it lines up okay. Yeah, it should be good. Nice. That looks great. So I'll show this whole thing eventually, how I trimmed all this out. But for now, that's the door. And my pieces of wood that I have, these bands going across here, there will be one about here. Then the next two will butt into this door here and here. It'll just come to the end of this aluminum, go down to the wall. Same thing on this side. I ended up, this piece here actually went a little bit long. I cut it back. That way the seam would end up right here instead of, you know, monkeying with the edge of this. So that all came out pretty good. So the fun part is going to be down here at this end, the way I'm going to finish this out, which I haven't totally put together yet, but I have an idea on it, and that'll be next. Well, I haven't been apparently getting all this on video. My GoPro either wasn't turned on or ran out of memory or something, but anyway, but where I'm at now is I'm at the very end of the ceiling here. It's kind of dark in here because it's at night. So now I'm at the end of the front of the bus here. You can see the contacts there, and I went ahead and ran my vinyl and my Dacron foam or fiber stuff to the end of the OSB here. And early on in the project, I had, you know, this lid here, this fiberglass lid, which is in really nice shape, with the exception of a few scratches over here, but I'm hoping to cover most of that. But I had to screw this on to the frame along here with these screws. Well, these screws are screwed into the steel. They're transferring heat and cold through, and they will condensate if the conditions are just right. So I've got, what you can see here is I've got my vinyl, I've got my Dacron, I've got my OSB, and then under that I have my 1/2-inch foam board, which goes under everything, or over the top of all the steel. And so this part here isn't thermally isolated right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put some insulation up in this gap here all the way down, seal that up, and then I'll insulate over the screws. And then I've got this piece here made that I made in the shop, that again I didn't catch on video. But what I did is I had the vinyl that I have is 54 inches wide. So instead of cutting a length of the roll off that's only 10 inches wide, kind of ruining that much of the roll, I just cut a 10-inch strip 54 inches wide, or 54 inches long and about 10 inches wide. Wrapped this, what I've got under here is a 1/2-inch foam board and a piece of paneling, and then my Dacron. I've got like a double layer of Dacron wrapped over this thing, so it's like a big stick basically with foam wrap on it. And then I just took 2 smaller pieces of vinyl and wrapped them over the ends, and I just kind of doubled them over here, you know, that way it just makes a nice looking seam at each end. That way it just was a better use of the materials. And so this piece is going to cover, or is going to create like a cap down here at the end. So once I insulate all that, this piece here will go in. Nice and tight. Like that. So that'll create a nice cap all the way down, and then I'll put a piece of trim over those staples, and this I'll screw to the top into the fiberglass, so that way it's still thermally isolated, so I'm not screwing into the steel, and that'll hold this place in place. It looks so nice I don't even want to put any screws in it, but I'll have to. That's about the only way I can figure out how to get it to stay up there. So okay, so that's it for the for the aluminum in here. And the reason I went ahead and ran the aluminum long and then butted the wood up to it, I mean, it would probably look better if the wood went all the way up to the wood, but then I'd have to have just a bunch of these little pieces in between. At the time when I started all this, I wasn't sure if I liked this wood, and I'm not 100% fond of it. I'd rather have something that was about a little bit narrower, about the same thickness, but smooth, instead of this decorative thing. I would have had to rip a bunch of wood and make it myself or whatever. So I decided to go ahead and put the aluminum on, put the wood strips on. If I was going to change these out later, which I probably never will, but if I did want to, I could take these out, put different ones in, and leave the aluminum there. Anyway, that's kind of my thinking on it. So so I just have yet to, I've got these short pieces here. There'll be one about here, one here at the seam that'll butt right up to this. So it'll stop here. And then I'll have one more as it evenly spaced out here, and then one here. Or I'll just leave this last one wide and just put one here. Either way, and this actually, the way this turned out here, this would go right like that, right up against that, and it would really trim that out nice. So this piece here came out pretty good. I'm very, very happy with it. If I had to, I could lose the screws and put a strip of wood right over the middle of it, fasten it on. It would look just as good, but if that holds up, fine. I'd rather just leave it plain if I can. So, and then on the end here, I went ahead and ran the aluminum short, and then these will actually go all the way to the end, like so. Just because I thought that was a little better termination here of the process. So that should look pretty good by the time that's all fastened in. I just got to get, I need 3 more of these long pieces for the rest of the ceiling. So basically, this is the ceiling at night. Maybe I'll have to make a new video. Came out pretty good here. This here is all trimmed out around the refrigerator box or cabinet. This here is a little bit hokey because I ran this one long, and then I ended up having to trim this one off because this got a little bit of a lip here, so I didn't really plan that too well, but it works. Also, I rounded the corner here a little bit so it doesn't have a sharp corner biting into the vinyl. Same thing over here. So I went ahead and kind of made this one the same as that side, plus the wood here is going to come down and it's going to butt up to this one here. Otherwise, I would have had to have it come down to here, rip it, go all the way down, then it would kind of mix match, and it wouldn't be, the aluminum wouldn't be as continuous. So this here is all pretty much completed with the aluminum. So I like the repetitious nature of it all. To me, it looks pretty good. I should probably make some more video during the day, but I really like the way the ceiling came out. It did lower it just a little bit. I'm just about 6'2", and with my boots on, I'm about 6'4", maybe 6'3.5", something like that. I still have about 2.5 inches space there to the ceiling where it's padded, where it pushes up, but it's fine. It's really came out to be a nice ceiling. What's going on?
Hey, you said you were finished.
No, I said I got these 3 pieces of wood on. I'm finished. With the kitchen anyway.
Nice.
Oh man, I just cut that off and it's still cut it twice and it's still too short. Oh gosh, it's just right there.
We're gonna take like a 1/16 of an inch off.
Probably not even that. So yeah, hang around for a second. Let me cut this off real quick. Assuming it's going to work this time. So it screws backwards in there. That wouldn't work too well, would it? Oh, come on.
Put it in there first and then bend it up.
Yeah, I think it'll work. Oh, now look at that. I've got a little bit. Well, it's touching. In other words, you know, I worked against myself on the other side.
Yeah.
I hope it'll fit.
Oh man, I don't know. Oh yeah.
There we go. Gotta move it that way a little bit.
No tape?
Huh?
You're not measuring?
No, oops.
Oh, nice. Smooth move, X-Lax.
Yeah. So I've got a little pencil mark right there.
Oh.
Nice, huh?
Yeah, not bad.
So this is. Then I just have those 2 short pieces over there down there to put on.
Oh yeah, sure.
Let's see.
Nice.
Looks all right, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's kind of different. Only about it, you'll never see another rig with a ceiling just like this one.
No, you won't.
I gotta find that screw. I see it there. So that completes this end.
Nice.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah. So why are these screws so close together on these ones?
Well, because the rest of them are on layout. So like this one here is all lined up all the way down.
Oh.
But this here, otherwise it'd be over here.
Oh yeah,
so,
sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of an unfortunate thing there. So that finishes this end. Okay, so that concludes the ceiling for the kitchen, dining room, and living room. Those are separate rooms. Anyway, of the bus here. And so it's kind of nice to be able to say that I at least have one thing nearly complete that's finished work. Everything else still has a lot of work. Got walls, got floors, stuff like that. But it's coming along. So just kind of give you a rundown of this, is that this ceiling just makes a really nice ceiling for thermal conductivity of the screws. That's the only thing that wasn't thermally isolated were the screws going into the steel and then, you know, coming out to the surface of the OSB. And so that takes care of that. And the rest of the ceiling is thermally isolated because of the insulation going over the top of the steel structure. And so then at the end here, I've got this capped off here. And so anyway, so it's looking pretty good. So appreciate everybody watching, and I hope this inspires somebody. Obviously, the ceiling like this is going to be the only ceiling in the world that looks like this one. And I think it came out pretty good, and I like it. And I appreciate everybody watching the videos. God bless, and take care of yourselves.